Well, what have you decided? The realtor demonstratively looks at her wristwatch, signaling that she is in a hurry. Valeria walks around the apartment once more. There are no curtains on the windows, perhaps there never were, since the wallpaper is faded and blistering in places. The windows overlook a wasteland, bisected by a highway where cars rush by in a continuous stream. From the 13th floor, they seem tiny. It must be beautiful at night. The kitchen is large, spacious, with plenty of cabinets in a pleasant peach color. The room has little furniture, only the essentials, a sofa, a wardrobe, and a small TV. Apparently, the owner was indifferent to comfort or limited by funds. Valeria's footsteps echo loudly on the laminate flooring. How much did you say the owner is asking for the apartment? Valeria asks, stopping in front of the realtor. She remembers, just wants to weigh all the pros and cons again. The realtor perks up and names the price. Very cheap. I would say a steal. You're unlikely to find another apartment at this price. And why so cheap? Is there a rush to sell, or are there other reasons? Valeria inquires. The price, of course, is pleasing and attractive. Yes, the apartment is spacious and convenient, and the renovation and furniture can be acquired over time. Though Valeria is also short on funds. Only the bathroom is strikingly clean and perfectly renovated. The tiles shine as if they were just laid. Probably, the owner started the renovation from here, the bathroom, to avoid dusting the entire apartment. The rest was left unfinished due to a lack of funds. The girl moved to the UK, got married. Her parents decided to sell the apartment. Valeria hears the realtor explain. Why sell it so cheaply? The apartment is good. It would be more profitable to rent it out. Nothing will be taken from the furniture. They said they sell it as is. I understand it's not for everyone, but we can remove the furniture. The price won't change, the realtor said, following Valeria. It all doesn't add up. The owner left, her parents are selling the apartment. Are they very wealthy? Don't they need the money? Valeria asked. The apartment is registered in the mother's name. The girl just lived here. The parents bought it for their daughter when she came to study at the university. She finished her studies, got married, and left. The parents live in another city. They don't plan to come here. They don't want to or are afraid of dealing with the rental, the realtor patiently explained. Strange, don't you think? Can you really afford to throw away real estate these days? Anything can happen. Valeria stares at the realtor, a middle-aged woman with a thick layer of makeup. It reminded her of the movie Between Heaven and Earth. What if a tragedy happened here? The girl slit her wrists in the bathroom. That's why it's so perfectly clean, it had to be washed. The grief-stricken parents decided to sell the apartment, because it would never be needed by anyone ever again, just to get rid of it, of the memories. And then that girl would come to me at night and scare me, demanding I leave the apartment. Valeria imagined this so vividly that she shuddered. Don't worry, the apartment is warm, the windows were left open, it got chilled, the realtor understood in her own way. Valeria was sure the realtor knew the truth, but wouldn't tell. The owner hastily married and left for blessed Britain. A convenient version. After all, you can't check. Well. Have you decided? The realtor repeats impatiently. Valeria had been looking for an apartment for a long time. She had saved money for 4 years, denying herself everything. Her parents also helped. When she saw the listing, she immediately called. Simply a fairy tale price, if you don't delve into the reasons for the sale. Even the furniture is there for the time being. A TV. Move in and live. If she refuses, the apartment will immediately be bought by less scrupulous buyers. And how long ago did the owner leave? She's interested in how long ago the tragedy unfolded. But Valeria asked differently. 4 months ago, but the apartment was only put up for sale yesterday. You're the second one interested and called. The first buyer didn't like the neighborhood. There are more people wanting to see the apartment. She looks at her watch again. In 2 hours. A cheap trick, Valeria thinks. Sometimes, an entire performance is played out. Colleagues come in the role of buyers. They marvel, praise the apartment. Want to buy it right away, so the indecisive buyer hurries up and is ready to pay even more. A nerve-wracking game. Valeria understands this, but hears herself. Yes, I agree, Valeria says. The realtor stretches her lips into a smile, this time genuine, not forced. Believe me, you won't regret it. I've been in real estate for a long time. And we can throw out the furniture. We'll send a team. No need, Valeria stops her. Shall we go to the office then? The realtor takes out her phone. I'm canceling the meeting with the next buyers. She is eager to leave. Yes, Valeria waits while she tells someone on the phone that the deal is done, the apartment is sold. And now tell me honestly, why such a low price? Did a tragedy happen here? Her question catches the realtor off guard. She forms her lips into an O and exhales noisily. Honestly, I don't know. The seller set the price themselves. We advised against it. The realtor repeats the version about marriage and the UK, glancing around the room. Did I rush? Will I regret it? Valeria thinks. The realtor's gaze settles on her. For a moment, it seems she is ready to tell the truth. Let's go to the office, sign the contract, and you'll make a deposit, says the realtor and heads for the exit. She locks the apartment and tucks the keys into her purse. When can I move into the apartment? Valeria asks on the way to the office. Everything is specified in the standard contract. The apartment is free. You don't need time for the owner to move out. If everything suits you, then after signing the contract and paying the full amount, you can move in. But you'll still have to register the apartment in your name. She pauses. But usually, to avoid any surprises, it's better to register the apartment in your name first and then move in. The realtor spends a long time explaining what surprises might await. But not in your case, we're a reliable company. We value our reputation. Valeria has a question on the tip of her tongue. Does your reputation allow selling an apartment with skeletons in the closet? But she remains silent. Even after the deal, Valeria is plagued by doubts. She can't sleep. She keeps thinking about the renovations she'll make, the furniture she'll buy. I won't throw out the old furniture during the renovations. With this thought, Valeria finally falls asleep. And almost immediately, she wakes up with her heart racing. She turns on the light and doesn't turn it off until morning. Valeria dreams that she opens her eyes and a girl is standing over her. The features are blurry, but for some reason, Valeria knows it's the apartment's owner. The girl puts her finger to her lips, signaling silence, and walks to the door. There, she looks back and disappears. What does all this mean? The uneasy feeling doesn't leave Valeria. She doesn't close her eyes until morning, trying to decipher the dream's meaning. The same dream occurs the next night. The same girl walks to the door, but doesn't look back and passes through it. I shouldn't have bought the apartment. I haven't even moved in, and already I'm having dreams. What's next? The owner and her secret won't leave her mind. Did she really leave? What happened to her? Is she alive? The neighbors. She could ask them. They must know everything. Why didn't I think of it before? After work, Valeria goes to the apartment. She stands at her door and rings the neighbor's bell. A half-blind, hard-of-hearing old woman opens the door, to whom Valeria doesn't explain anything. She says she got the wrong address. As soon as the old woman closes her door, Valeria rings another apartment. The lock clicks and a guy with a hat of curly tousled hair appears. Are you looking for someone? He asks. You, Valeria responds in his tone. Can we talk? Why not? The guy steps aside, letting Valeria into the apartment. What do I owe the visit of such a beautiful girl? He asks, hanging her coat on the rack. I'm your new neighbor. I want to know what happened to the old one. To the girl who lived in the apartment before me, Valeria begins. The guy's apartment is an exact mirror image of hers. Are you renting the apartment? Valeria asks. How did you guess? The guy is surprised. Have you lived here long? Valeria ignores his question. A year. Yes, a year and a month. So, you knew the neighbor. What's the matter? The guy becomes wary. What happened to her? Nothing happened to her. She married a foreigner and moved abroad. To the UK? Valeria clarifies. Maybe to the UK. She didn't report to me. The guy looked past Valeria. Or maybe even further? From where you don't come back, she clarified. Watching the guy's face closely. What do you mean? Slit her wrists, poisoned herself, hanged herself, jumped out of the window. Should I continue? I want to know. I'm going to live in this apartment. I don't want any surprises. The guy was silent for a moment. Then, he looked at Valeria. She was a normal girl. We often chatted in the evenings. Her boyfriend went to the UK or somewhere. He promised to settle down and come back for her. She waited for him a year, too, and then. I don't understand what stopped him from marrying her and going together. As far as I know, what she did to herself, Valeria interrupted him. Poisoned herself? His parents were against her, and her parents didn't like him. That's why the mother registered the apartment in her name, afraid of disputes over it. Irina complained that at first, they talked on Skype for hours every day, but then he stopped calling. I met her once on the stairs. She was unrecognizable, in tears. She went to his parents. They told her that their son had married well. I knocked on the door, rang. She wouldn't open, drove me away. I couldn't just break down the door. I never thought she would. There's no computer in the apartment, although they left the TV, said Valeria. Probably the police took it. Then gave it to her parents, the guy shrugged. The next day, I rang her again. Then I called emergency services. If she had left, I would have heard. The walls are thin. I work from home. Feel sorry for the fool. Because of some guy. If everyone did that, the world's population would be no more than 10 million. So, you bought the apartment? Now regret it? Now it was Valeria's turn to shrug. I'm glad you bought the apartment, otherwise, only old people live here, no one to talk to. Are you alone, or is there a guy? Why are you interested? In case you too, the guy hinted. Forget it, I have to go. I'll be moving in soon, we'll have plenty of time to talk, said Valeria, starting to say goodbye. A week later, all the documents were processed, and Valeria moved into the apartment. The neighbor showed up immediately at the noise. Told you, the walls are thin. Aren't you scared? If it's scary to sleep at night? Maybe come to my place, he offered. Look at you, eager. Valeria scolded him. They actually spent the first night together. Sat in the kitchen and celebrated the housewarming. They parted ways in the early morning. Then Valeria asked him to watch the wallpaper being hung while she was at work. They chose furniture together. Valeria changed the lock and finally felt at ease. Should have started a renovation, like Irina. Might have changed her mind about dying. I offered to distract her. Shall we celebrate? Leonid, that was the guy's name, pointed to the bottle of wine he brought. Curtains on the windows made the apartment cozy and warm. It smelled of fried potatoes, renovation, and new furniture. Listen, she keeps appearing in my dreams, Valeria complained after they drank. And what does she say? She doesn't say anything. Just puts her finger to her lips, like this. Valeria showed. Calls you with her? No, just walks through the door and disappears. What does it mean? Means everything's normal. Want me to stay with you? If she comes, she'll see you're not alone and won't appear in your dreams anymore. Leonid said it so seriously that Valeria laughed. When Leonid was around, the apartment's owner didn't appear in Valeria's dreams. Together, they were comfortable and happy. And soon, Leonid permanently moved in with Valeria. A year later, they got married and thought about buying a larger apartment since they would have children. Valeria contacted the same realtor who had shown her the apartment. Selling already? The realtor was surprised. Yes, I got married, we need a bigger apartment. As a regular client, I'll find you a good option and give you a good discount. Tell me, what kind of apartment do you want? Area, floor? Just please, no skeletons in the closet, Valeria requested. The realtor looked away and nodded. She knew about the girl, Valeria realized. A buyer for Valeria's apartment was found quickly. Leonid invested his savings, and they bought a larger apartment. Valeria walked through the rooms and listened to herself. No, nothing happened here. The previous owners were happy here, she said. The past of your apartment didn't prevent us from being happy. How good it is that you weren't afraid and bought it, otherwise we wouldn't have met, and I would have died of loneliness and despair. You'll still dream of that peaceful time because soon, silence and tranquility will have to be forgotten for the next 18 years, Valeria cheered him up. Are you sure? Leonid immediately understood what she meant. He became serious right away. I've been sure for 2 months already. Valeria put her hands on her still flat stomach. I'm willing to forget about peace for a longer period, because we won't stop at one child. Leonid hugged Valeria. I feel sorry for that old apartment of ours. I feel like Irina was happy for us. She lost her own happiness, but she brought us together. Together.